What's good, neighborhood? It's your favorite neighbor, your man, Marq Nash. Another great episode of Breaking Beats. Y'all already know what it is. We break down business, entertainment, art, technology, sports, and anything else you and I feel like talking about. It's a hip-hop political sports show with a comedy twist. We like to let the jokes fly. You know why? Life is serious enough. Life is getting real serious in the life of Keefe D. Keefe D is self-snitching going wrong at its highest, man. If you don't know, Keefe D has been arrested and charged in relation to the murder or the unliving, the unalive, the deletion of hip-hop icon Tupac Shakur. Now, according to everything that we've heard, he basically had a proffer. He made a confession to this officer. I think his name was Greg Caden, something like that. Somebody will put it in the comments. And then that confession, basically, he gave up some information to get off on something else. I'm gonna play a little bit of this audio so you guys can hear what we're talking about here. But he has definitely confessed to this. But it appears those words are coming back to haunt him because according to this officer, look, that confession pretty much lasts in this room and, you know, you confess to it, gave us some information and you go about your day, but that doesn't, you don't have immunity. You get what I'm saying? The prosecution, the state can pick this up once you leave this room and you go elsewhere and they can pursue a case with you, you know? So according to Vlad TV, which brings us full circle, he said he's been contacted and he said they think they got he has other footage that's not released, that's uncut, but he said he's not cooperating. Let's play some of this. Before I play that though, excuse me, before I play that, let me play you some of this audio of how this interview kind of went so you can get a glimpse of why some people say Vlad is the feds or hey, Vlad, you working for them people, or even better, or even, sorry about that, even at the simplest form, you can understand why the law enforcement would say, hey, let me see these, you know, the unredacted footage. But let me play this for you. This is how a clip of this interview went with Keefe D.
You know, when the incident happened, there were 4 people in the car. You're the only living person that was in that car right now. Everyone else has passed away since then. What witnesses were saying, though, was that when they saw the arm stick out the window and do the shooting, it wasn't a skinny arm. It was a bulky, hefty-looking arm.
Well, I was in the passenger seat. No way, you know.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying that there's 4 people in the car, but they said it wasn't a skinny arm that stuck his hand out the window.
Who the witness?
Can't say.
Okay. They lying? Was they there?
Yes. They were there.
Yeah. Only witness it was Suge Knight and, you know, me. Only 2 persons left. I kind of see this little shit. You know what I'm saying? He trying to say it's me and all this little shit.
I'm not saying it's you.
He's so full of shit.
But at the time that, you know, that you actually, that Greg Kading met up with you and recorded, you know, the proffer agreement and everything else like that, wasn't there one other person that was still alive at that time? Was it Dre or who?
No, they had went through there already. I was the last one to know, big dog.
Okay, so at that time there was no one else alive.
I was the last one to know.
You're the last one. Okay, fair enough.
Wow. Yo. Wow, man. He pressed him, didn't he? He pressed him. So this is Vlad doing an interview. Check out the full interview. This is just a small clip. And he's talking about the police contacting him. And he's saying, hey, I'm not gonna contribute to, listen to this, man.
You about any of your footage?
I'm gonna give you the exclusive on this. They actually have tried. I've gotten a bunch of phone calls and emails and stuff like that, but I'm not cooperating with this.
Okay. What
Yeah.
do you think it's? I mean, I'm assuming they can access the interview on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming what they want is the uncut version. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Just to see if there was anything talked about.
Correct. Yeah, but my thing, and I've always held this stance when it comes to people that interview on my platform. I'm not going to have you come to my platform and do an interview only to then work against you.
Yeah.
With the police, regardless of what people think that I really do, the reality of what I do. And I've had to do this before. I remember this one time they tried to seize this one interview of from me, and I said no, and they were like, well, we're going to put you on the stand, whatever, we're going to subpoena you. And like, all right, well, I'm lawyering up then.
Mm-hmm.
So my lawyer got involved, and they weren't able to get it. And, you know, ultimately the guy ended up losing his case anyways, but we weren't involved in it. So if you interview on my platform, if the police then try to approach me on it, I'm always going to say no.
Yeah.
So I haven't even responded. And I'm sure the police are going to watch this and now see why.
Yeah.
But that's my stance. I'm not responding. I'm not cooperating. If you want to try to subpoena whatever, I will get a lawyer and I will fight it. And from what I understand, even in the language they use, I don't think that they can. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the raw footage, thinking there might be something that was said that we didn't release. But honestly, if you know what I do, literally almost every second of the footage has been released.
Okay.
Unless the person coughs or, you know, says, oh, let me go get a drink of water. Let me go to the bathroom. Like we're into the quantity of footage. So we try to get every second of footage and try to release it whenever possible. So they're really barking up the wrong tree if that's what they're trying to do. And I don't think, you know, they haven't used any language of me, of trying to force me to do it, because I don't think that they have any legal basis of it. But I'm not cooperating. Whatever Keefe D is going through, Vlad TV is not going to add to his problems.
Okay.
Now, the videos are released publicly, so I'm assuming that they could probably access that. But it's out of my hands at this point. And whatever happens to Keefe happens to Keefe. Ultimately, I don't have any sort of malice towards Keefe at all. I appreciate him coming to my platform and telling his story. He may come back at some point. He may not. You know, we've had discussions about that as well. But, you know, what I didn't realize was that grand juries actually take a long time.
Yeah.
I think it more so comes down to the proffer agreement. I think that what's more going to be challenged is whether the proffer agreement holds, because he said what he said to Greg Kading, and he essentially has been repeating that in the interviews and whatever else. So if the proffer agreement holds, then technically they can't use any of that shit.
Yeah.
But if they say, well, the proffer agreement was only for that day, and if you choose to repeat it, then it can be used against you, then they may have something. But I think that this is like a gray legal area that, you know, is going to have to be argued in the legal system.
Yeah. And I interviewed Greg and asked him specifically about this.
Somebody like in Keefe D's position, if he has any of these agreements, is there any time that he can talk about the stuff that he discussed with you guys without getting in trouble?
No. When he goes outside of that agreement, that information is all there to be used should a prosecutor choose to do so. So when he's gone outside of this law enforcement environment where he has been given this agreement, everything else is up for grabs. So everything that he said in books or on YouTube channels or, you know, on, you know, multiple interviews, that's all information that can absolutely be used against him and should.
And Vlad pretty much goes on to say, well, of course, Greg Kading has an agenda. He's been working on this case for years. Of course, he wants this guy to, you know, be prosecuted for this crime, not out here profiting off of it, you know, pretty much doing interviews bragging about it. Because Keefe D has told this story in detail, and he keeps telling it the exact same. And it's pretty wild when you hear it. But I'll do another video on that one, because that video will probably be like 10 minutes on its own too. So let's wrap this one up right now. Y'all leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think of Vlad TV. saying, hey, look, I'm not cooperating. They've contacted me. If you do interviews with me, I'm not going to use those interviews against you. Now, granted, if it's out there, you say it on the channel, it's out there in the public domain now. I'm not editing nothing unless you cough, sneeze, need to go get some water. Other than that, we're about quantity. Those are his words. Do you agree with that type of journalism? Do you think, as the person in charge of the platform, the editor-in-chief, you the boss, should you put content out there that might get people indicted or make them look unfavorable? Should you use some journalistic, what's the word? Y'all tell me what the word is. It's your man Marq Nash breaking discernment. How about that? That'll work. It's your man Marq Nash breaking beats. I see you in the next one. Peace.
Hey, it's Antonio Tarver Champion. You watching Marq Nash at Breaking Beats. I usually don't do drops, but I'm gonna give you one, bro. I'm gonna give you one. I love you, champ.